Good evening to you once again, and thanks for keeping us company. As we dive into the edition, the observation that there is a low perception of consuming locally produced products in Rwanda compared to imported suggests a potential challenge in promoting domestic consumption. Despite growth in industrial production of 9.5%, efforts are still needed to enhance awareness towards the appreciation and perception of locally manufactured products. Adam Squizera starts us off tonight with this report.
The cosmetic oil processing industry is located in the Gasabo district, Kigali city. The factory has the capacity to produce 200 packages per day. However, due to a slow market, the products often remain unsold for at least a week. The CEO of this factory, Sengo Gahaman, notes that there is still a low level of awareness and the usage of locally made products in Rwanda compared to those from outside. People haven't yet understood how good it is to consume our products, made in Rwanda products, because like for us, we have the quality products, but whenever a client comes and sees this mark of made in Rwanda, it literally weakens the client. But when he or she decides to take it, 90% of those clients comes back. Manira Chinga Manase, an economic expert, emphasizes that even though most of the basic materials used in the products still comes from outside the country and the packaging industries are still limited, this should also hinder Rwandans from valuing locally made products. It's a very serious challenge, but the first thing is that every Rwandan living in Rwanda should understand how worthy it is for using locally made products, since it's part of developing the country, but as well as local industries. Since when you consume the imported products, seems like taking back the money to that industry abroad. In 2020, the industry sector experienced a production decrease of 4.2%, but later it rebounded with a growth rate of 13.4%. In 2022, the production increased by 5%. And during the first 3 quarters of 2023, industrial production further rose by 9.5%. The Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, recently addressed the plenary session of both chambers in the Rwanda's parliament, expressing optimism that industrial production will continue to increase.
Izahuka ry'urwego rw'ubwubatsi ryatumye ibikorwa mu nganda bishamikiye ku bwubatsi nabyo bizamuka.
The rise of the construction sector made the industrial products rise, hence to a huge contribution to the manufacturing sector at a rate of 10.5% in the last 3 quarters of 2023. Apart from that construction sector, the rise of the industrial processed products was significantly contributed by textile and agriculture industries. The industrial sector ranks second in the GDP, contributing to 20% of the GDP after service sector and agriculture. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
The Committee on Presidential Affairs in the Ugandan Parliament is in Rwanda for a field work. They demonstrate that the enhanced green city policy in the city of Kigali should be applied in Kampala. Prince Manzi.
Of the Rwanda Parliament, Honorable Donatille Mukabalisa, and later had discussions with the Committee on Land, Agriculture, Livestock and Environment in the Rwandan Parliament that tackled on the development witnessed in the city of Kigali. Honorable Malawi James, leading the delegation, reiterates that what was achieved in Kigali can be likewise for the Uganda's capital Kampala, as laws are there, falling short is complying with them.
The politics which we learned here is to agree on what to do. If you agree as members of parliament and citizens that this is the way to go, and you respect the law of the country, and then you are good to go. The political environment provided where they set law and everybody is convinced to adopt the law and work towards this law is, I think, one of the things which puts Rwanda to reach at this level. We have a very good laws. We have a very good system as a country, as a government. The challenge is how do we reach there? How can we put this into right? As I was speaking in the meeting, you know, at the Kampala city, we have taxi operators. They have their system, how they do their work. Our belief is once this system is brought together like what Rwanda did here, we're going to get a very good achievement.
The Ugandan parliamentarians were also explained on how the budget for Kigali city's development is given, the citizen participation in the city's development, land management and use, environmental conservation, and transport. The Committee on Presidential Affairs monitors the Kampala Capital City Authority, responsible for the operations of the capital city, Kampala.
For the report. And moving ahead, although Rwanda has not yet reached a point where the country is burdened by foreign debt, based on the figures from the Central Bank of Rwanda and international financial institutions such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, economists and financial experts are concerned about the way loans are evaluated, including those acquired from domestic financial institutions. Adam Squizera has this report.
Monetary Fund, IMF, indicates that the rate of foreign loans taken by Rwanda has increased significantly, particularly in the context of economic recovery after the COVID-19 pandemic. This was affirmed by the Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente when he was addressing the plenary session of the Chamber of Deputies last week. There was a rise in foreign debts. We talked during COVID-19 in order to protect Rwandans. Yes, we achieved that. So later on, those debts will be paid by Rwandans through our GDP, because our GDP performs well whenever Rwandans are also performing well. More than 80% of all foreign loans acquired by Rwanda are structured to be recovered over a period ranging from 30 to 40 years, with an interest rate of less than 1%. The loans acquired by the country have played a crucial role in supporting the hospitality sector. In 2022, the central bank's statistics indicated that the value of exports was correlated with the foreign loans obtained by the country, raising concerns as Rwanda reached a rate between 7% and 21%, signaling the potential burden of foreign loans. In 2023, according to those figures, Rwanda was at 8.7%. And this year, it is expected that foreign loans will be at 8%, based on taxes collected compared to the loans the country has. On the other hand, economic expert Dr. François Kanimba suggests that there is a need to carefully consider certain loans that the country might take from domestic financial institutions to reduce that burden. There can be a way governments can establish a joint collaboration with private sector in order to that high amount needed in the activities that can impact the country's economy positively. They can primarily get the money from our domestic financial institutions. The figures from the Central Bank of Rwanda BNR indicated that in 2024, it was initially planned for the rate of foreign loans to reach 11%. However, there is a growing concern as the rate is starting to approach 23%. Valence Rutiesha, an expert in financial institutions, notes that these institutions can collaborate and collectively share the land burden, given its substantial size and the extended repayment period.
Possibility that those banks can come together. They can come maybe if one company needs around 100 million USD. 10 banks can come together, each bank may contribute 10 million and then they finance the same project. And that way the risk is mitigated for each bank, and also that participation becomes important in terms of liquidity for each bank. So banks can come together to finance that. Apart from commercial banks, development financial institutions can also finance such projects for private companies. For example, we have banks like Trade and Development Bank, TDB. We have IFC, International Finance Corporation. We have banks like the European Investment Bank. These are banks that can finance such huge projects.
When economists analyze the country's debt in relation to the global economy and assess its current value, they find that in 2021, Rwanda's debt stood at 34.6%. The country aims to avoid exceeding 55%. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
The Minister of Tourism of Jordan is on an official working visit to Rwanda. In an exclusive interview with RBA's Olive Nete, Honorable Mukraf Mustafa explored more on the purpose of his visit to Rwanda and also shared insights on the benefits of enhancing bilateral relations in the tourism sector between Rwanda and Jordan.
The purpose of the visit is clear. It's translating the vision of His Majesty. His Majesty was adamant always to keep excellent relationship with Rwanda. His Majesty was always adamant to reach out to Rwanda and to Africa as a whole. His Majesty was here just a few weeks back, and we had also a very important visit by the Honorable President. He was also among the invitees who attended the wedding of our Crown Prince, His Royal Highness Prince Al Hussein. So we have this high-level interaction, and we're just translating it into an action plan that would benefit the peoples of Jordan and the peoples of Rwanda as well. In the tourism sector, it's very, very important for us to keep track of this relationship. Tourism is very important, vital for our economies. It's vital for the Jordanian economy, it's vital for the Rwandan economy. The total contribution of the sector to the Jordanian economy is 15.6%, which is huge. In Rwanda, it's almost 10%, and it's growing. So this will be an opportunity for us to talk to our partners here, the stakeholders in the tourism sector and other sectors as well that we have touched upon.
So given the experience that Jordan has in the tourism sector, what specific aspects of Rwanda's tourism industry do you see promising for collaboration with Jordan?
For a country like Jordan, with no natural resources, the leadership realized from the start, since the establishment of modern Jordan that we know today, we realized that the human capital is the main asset of the country. So we have invested a lot in the human capital. We have invested a lot in the preservation and restoration of our archaeological sites. In Jordan, we have, according to the latest mapping that we have conducted in the country, we have 100,000 archaeological sites. 15,000 of them are registered on our national register with all the details. Around them, maybe 50 or 60 of them are famous, but the most famous are less than 10. 6 of them are inscribed on the World Heritage List of UNESCO. The 7th on the way to be inscribed maybe this summer. So all of this is there. And I know that Rwanda has a lot to offer in terms of the natural reserves, wildlife, also the cuisine and the gastronomy that you have in the country. Yesterday I was in one of the restaurants in Kigali. I was really impressed by the service, by the food, by the hygiene, the cleanness, and by the attitude of the people. This is a reflection of the hospitality that the Rwandan people enjoy. They receive you always with a smile, but also this means that they are trained well. And training is key to our future collaboration between Jordan and Rwanda.
Considering bilateral relations between the two countries and between Jordan and Rwanda, and also considering that Jordan has this expertise and experience in the health sector, have you had talks about the health sector, and how do you see the benefits in terms of medical tourism, classical tourism, and also training doctors as well?
Yes, I just had a meeting 1 hour and a half ago with some officials from the Ministry of Health in Rwanda and with the chairman of the Private Hospitals Association here in Rwanda and his team. And we have gone through all the details. We have the biggest maybe number of doctors compared to the population in Jordan. And we're like 10% above the international average. We have also nurses that are 11% above the international standard when it comes to the ratio of nurses vis-a-vis the population. We have excellent number of hospitals. As I told you in the beginning, we have invested a lot in the human capital, and this is the result after 7 decades. Now, why we're here? We're similar. We're similar in terms of geography, we're similar in terms of shared history, but above all, we're similar in resilience. You are a resilient nation. You're strong. You've been going through a lot, and crises have been passing through the Rwandan land for the past years, and the same applies to Jordan. We have been going through a lot of crises, a number of crises that if the nation was not resilient and strong, we couldn't have been living today in this harmony and this economic state. And we think that Rwanda is an example of this resilience, and we think that Rwanda will be the hub because what I witnessed since I arrived, the tidiness, the cleanness, the discipline, the smile, the hospitality. I see people, serious people with dedication. All of this are ingredients for success. And above all is the wise leadership. To answer your question directly on the medical services, yes, we will have collaboration. I think we'll have doctors from Jordan coming here, maybe for 6 months, 1 year, to train with their colleagues. And we have a lot of experienced doctors that are retired now. We might always need your help, their help in the medical sector. They can come to Rwanda for some time and train people here, as we did in Jordan back in the days. So we have all of this, and I can see it in Rwanda. I can see that people are keen to learn and are keen to develop, and we also are keen to learn from you.
Considering the growing interest in speaking of sustainability of tourism practices globally, how does Jordan approach sustainability in its tourism practices, and how might these principles be applied in Rwanda's context as well?
Sustainability for me lies under the real preservation of my archaeological sites. So you need to look at the competitive advantage that you have, build on it. What do we have in Jordan? We have 3 pillars for the tourism sector. One is training. If I train my staff well, they will serve me for the coming 30, 40 years. So if you train a young chap or a young girl who's 16, 17, she or he will serve you in the sector for the coming 3 decades. This is sustainable. Archaeological sites, they need to be tidy and clean and restored well. Because if you don't have a real developed product, you'll never have tourism. If you don't have the real organized flow of visitors to your sites, this will have a negative impact in the future. And if you don't have an aggressive promotional and marketing campaign, you will never make it. So these 3 pillars are important for sustainability, the sustainability of the tourism sector.
And that's all from us here at RB's Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us. Thank you very much. We wish you a great evening and a fruitful week ahead. Goodbye.